a hobby challenge. Maybe that's just the nature of us, ever wishing for things that were and could be, rather than things that are and will be. Oh, I think we're getting introduced to the found family, which I love. Good morning. Today I am going to be doing a hobby challenge. Now, I've seen so many people do a readathon where in the day they just set up a timer for how many hours they want to spend reading that day. I want to do a similar thing, but for all of my hobbies. Now, this does include reading, but I also have a few other hobbies that I want to do as well. So the hobby lineup is my scrapbook, my art journal, my book journal, my normal journal, and then my 2 books that I'm currently reading. So this is going to be the hobbies that I try and prioritize today. It is in fact midday. So I think the timer that I'm going to set up is going to be 4 hours, and we're just going to try and make our way through as many of these as I can. I think I can actually do a bit of all of them. For the first hour, I think I will in fact read. I do just want to do a little bit of reading. The books that I'm currently reading are firstly Morning Star. Now, this is the 3rd book in the Red Rising original trilogy. I have really been enjoying this entire series. However, when I got to about 25% of the way through this book, I started to get really scared about how the book was going to continue and conclude, and I ended up kind of pausing my read because I just got really worried about all of the characters. And so because of that, I ended up picking up Lady of Shadows, which is the 2nd book in the Lady of Darkness series. So I did in fact start this. I'm very early on, but I am reading both of these books. I've also got the audiobooks for both of them, so I can do immersive reads while reading, because when it came to Morningstar, I was just getting really stressed out about all of the characters. I was getting so worried about what was going to happen to them, who's going to die, who's going to survive. There was just a lot going on, and I just got really scared. So having the audiobook also helped me try and like push through a little bit more, so I wasn't so scared the whole time. But I am reading both of these books, and I'm also listening to the Atlas 6 trilogy. So I'm on the 3rd book now. So we have the Atlas 6, wait, what are they called? We have the Atlas 6, the Atlas Paradox, and the Atlas Complex. These are, I think they're classed as dark academia, but I've really been enjoying listening to those audiobooks, and I'm on the 3rd one now. But I think for the first hour of this hobby challenge, I'm going to be reading Morningstar. I'm going to get my headphones in, I'm going to listen to the audiobook, and I'm going to do an immersive read. I'm currently on chapter 33, so I am, how much percentage? I'm 49% of the way through this, so just about halfway through. But I think the first hour I'm going to read this, and then we can get to some of the other hobbies later on. I love this book and I love this series. I have been hooked since the 1st book, Red Rising, and some people have said that you have to push through the 1st book and then the 2nd book is where you really get into the story, but I was into the story from the 1st book. I enjoyed it the whole way through. It was also quite different to what I had been reading, and I think I needed that difference so that I could just fall in love with it. But I love this book. I love the story. I love the characters and the relationships and the friendships and the dynamics that keep changing, and I am having such a good time reading this. I am half an hour down on the timer, so I will go another half an hour reading Morningstar, and then I will pick up a few of the other hobbies. Maybe that's just the nature of us, ever wishing for things that were and could be, rather than things that are and will be. Okay, I have done the first hour of our timer and I am on chapter 40, so I'm about 59% of the way through Morningstar. I'm really enjoying it. I'm also still very scared, but I'm really enjoying it. The audiobook has helped me get through a little bit of my fear and just enjoy the story a bit more. One thing that I have to say is the first two books I didn't listen to an audiobook at all. So when I started listening to this audiobook about 25% of the way through Morningstar, the voice of our main character was very different to the voice that I had in my head. So that did throw me at first, and it took me a minute to get used to the narrators of the story, but I think I'm used to it now and I'm just enjoying the story now and the book and the immersive read. But that was something that threw me at first. I'm really liking the book. I'm still terrified, but I'm enjoying it all the same. What I'm actually going to do now is work on my scrapbook. So I have my April, what do I have? My March and April spreads where I never printed out the pictures for those 2 months. So I want to do that. I could also do my May and my spring wrap up spreads, but I don't really want to do that today. So I'm going to choose a few photos for March and April, print those out and get those in here. Now I've run out of my A5 printer paper, so because I'm going to have to use a larger paper to print off pictures, I figured I would also print off a couple of pictures that could go into my book journal and my normal journal. I have like a daily journal that I use, and then this is more of like my journal that I write in when I do fun things, whether I go to an event or I try something new. I try to update it in here just so I can reflect on it. It's kind of like my written scrapbook because I only put things in here of kind of new events that I've gone to, new hobbies I've tried, stuff like that. But I also want to update this, so I think I can get a sheet laid out with the different pictures that I want for all 3 of those, and then we can start sticking those in and setting those up. So I'm going to get that set up. So it has been about 40 minutes. I did update my scrapbook. I just added a few photos onto the actual page and also inside this envelope. So that is updated, which I really like. And then I've also updated my other journal just with a couple of pictures and some thoughts on spring. So that's updated as well. I have a couple of images of some of the books that I've been reading or some of the series that I've started. So I want to update my book journal now. The first thing that I want to do with my book journal is look at my 2026 TBR and see if there are any books on here that I can tick off. Then I will get to updating my May TBR and tick off the books that I read, the ones that I DNF'd, and also add the additional ones on this side. So that's what I'm going to do now. Okay, so in terms of the books that are on my 2026 TBR, the ones that I have completed, I'm currently reading the Lady of Darkness series. I have read Heavenly Bodies, so that one is done. So the only one left on this side is the Lady of Darkness series, which is great. Oh, actually, I've realized I thought that the Lady of Darkness series had 6 books, but it's actually got 5, and then it has like a couple of novellas, so I will change that. And then on the other side, I haven't read The Hunger Games. I've finished reading Fury Bound. Light Wielder isn't out yet. Currently reading this trilogy. Haven't gotten to these yet. But that is really good progress in my 2026 TBR. Originally, I had a goal of reading 30 books in the year, but I definitely think I'm going to hit that, which is wonderful. Then we have my May TBR. So I did end up DNFing the Once Upon a Broken Heart trilogy. Oh, that's not good. I DNF'd it about 30% of the way through the first book. I just Wow, that's squeaky. I just really didn't enjoy it. Then Catabasis. Okay. Catabasis, I did read. I'll have to check what I rated it because I cannot remember. But I read that. If We Were Villains. Yeah, I read that. I enjoyed this as well. Red Rising, I'm currently reading. Heavenly Bodies, I also read. So I've done pretty well with my May TBR. Okay, I'm gonna color this one in because I'm like over halfway through the third book and my goal was to just read the original trilogy at the moment. So that's great. Then we have these images of those books. Now I want to add these images because I really enjoyed these book series. So we have Heavenly Bodies. I read this book in 2 days, which does not happen often for me at all. It usually takes me quite a while to read books. I am a slow reader. I do like to be very comfortable when I'm reading and I have to be in the right mood. But Heavenly Bodies I read so quickly and I really enjoyed it. So that was good. Then the Red Rising trilogy, I am really enjoying it so far. I'm still on the original trilogy, but I will definitely be continuing with the rest of the series as well. I have already got the 4th book, so I will probably read that over the next month or so, along with the other books. And then the Atlas 6 trilogy. This was kind of random. I didn't expect to read it this month, but essentially I saw a couple of these books in a Waterstones when I went to London a few weeks ago. And then as I finished If We Were Villains, which is a dark academia, I think I then got recommended this series as well on Audible, and so I thought, why not? Let's give it a go. So I have been reading this and I'm currently on the 3rd book, but let's get these down as well. Okay, so let's get on some of the ratings. I use Fable, so I'm going to add this. So which color do I want? I have to say Heavenly Bodies is the first 5-star of the year. Golden Sun was nearly a 5-star, but it didn't quite get there. But Heavenly Bodies, the way that I sped through that, it had to be a 5-star. So that is my first 5-star of the year, which is crazy that I get my first 5-star in May. I'm not going to put a rating on Red Rising yet because I haven't finished the original trilogy yet. Then I'll put my rating for the original trilogy here. And then I haven't finished these 2 yet either. But that's the ratings. And I just want to write a few words. Okay, I just wrote that where I was supposed to write the rating, but it's fine. Okay, so all 4 of those are updated. We have my scrapbook update for March and April. Then we have my journal update for spring. Then we have my book journal update for not only my 2026 TBR, which is this one, but also my May TBR, and then finally my art journal, where I just updated it with a few paintings that I did when I did a watercolor painting class on Skillshare a couple of weeks ago. So all 4 of those are updated. What's really weird is a few days ago I was thinking that I have too many of these different journals, and if maybe there was a way to combine them all into one, but I do have different things that fit for each of them, and I think if I combine them all into one, it might end up being really random, but I might actually like that as well. So for now I am going to continue with all 4 of these being separate, but in the future I might combine a couple of them. For example, I feel like I could get an A4 size scrapbook which has the spiral binding on the edges, just because the fact that this is opening up so much is a bit irritating to use. But I think in the future, if I get an A4 one, so it will be larger, it's got a spiral binding, and then I think I can combine the scrapbook and the journal into one that is A4 size. I will probably still keep a separate book journal and a separate art journal, but maybe I won't need to. Maybe they can all be in one and it will be like my overall archive of all of these different things. But that's something for me to think about more in the future. For now, I have got the 4 separate ones, but those are all updated. I have got 2 hours left on the clock. I thought this would take me a bit longer, but it didn't. So what I'm going to do now is I need to tidy all of this stuff up. So I'm going to be listening to an audiobook. I could listen to Morning Star, I could listen to Lady of Darkness, or I could listen to the Atlas, what is it called? The Atlas Complex. I think because I was reading the Morning Star earlier on today, I think I might just continue listening to the audiobook of this whilst I tidy everything up. So let's do that now. Okay, so I've tidied up and I have got 1 hour and 40 minutes left. Now I am at a very interesting point in Morning Star. However, I'm in the mood to pick up Lady of Shadows instead. So I'm going to pause on Morning Star because I'm very much in the early part of Lady of Shadows and I just want to get a little bit more invested into the story. And I feel like 1 hour and 40 minutes is definitely enough time to just get a few more chapters in and get back into the story and the world. I've made myself an iced drink, so I'm going to set up and do some reading of Lady of Shadows now, which is going to be really fun. I've actually really been enjoying reading multiple books at the same time, which I think I tried it before and it didn't work, but for some reason this time it did. I don't know if it's because they're both the sequel books in series, so I've already got the context of the first books and I'm just enjoying developing in that. I don't know what it is, but I'm really enjoying reading multiple books at the same time, because if I need a break from one book I can jump into another one, which is great. Otherwise I think I would end up in a slump. But I'm having a really great time reading in general. I have been on such a reading high lately and it's been amazing, so that's been really fun. But I do want to get a little bit more into this Lady of Shadows book, so let's get set up and get to reading. Oh, I think we're getting introduced to the found family, which I love. Found family is definitely my favorite trope in any book, but especially a long book series. It's my absolute top tier trope, and I think we're finally getting introduced to the found family properly, which I'm so excited for. Okay, so the 4-hour timer is up. I am so happy with how this went. I really, really enjoyed it. Not only did I get through the 4 journals that I wanted to update and that I have been wanting to update for the past couple of weeks, but I also managed to make progress in both of the books that I'm currently reading. In terms of Morningstar, I did get to chapter 42, which is 59% of the way through. So I definitely made progress. I think I was at 49% this morning. So I managed to read about 10% of this, and I'm well and truly over halfway through, and I'm really enjoying the book and the series, and I'm looking forward to continuing this. And then Lady of Darkness, I am about halfway through chapter 16, which is 27% of the way through this book. So definitely made a lot of progress in this. I'm enjoying this book. I really like the additional characters that we've got, the side characters, the found family that's developed and that we're being introduced to more and more, as well as the kind of villain that's coming into play. The world building has expanded, which I'm really, really enjoying as well, and the dynamics are shifting, so I'm really liking that. The only thing that I'm not loving is the situation between the FMC and the MMC, which I think I found in the first book as well, where it just felt quite a rush towards the end of the first book. And in this book, I just feel like a few of the moments between them didn't need to occur. I just didn't love them. However, I'm still very much enjoying this book, enjoying the story, enjoying the world building. I'm also loving that we're getting multiple POVs. I love when a big series gives us multiple POVs. I love when we have that. So I'm really enjoying this book, apart from the thing that I mentioned between the FMC and the MMC, but other than that, I'm really enjoying it, and I'm looking forward to continuing this book. I have to say today was absolutely a success. I will be doing more videos like this where I put on a timer and I do hobbies or I do reading. And I think I'll change the hours that I use on the timer depending on the day. I could do a weekend one, I could do one over a week. I have done 24-hour reading challenge and 24-hour hobby challenge over the course of a week. So like I think from Sunday to a Sunday. And I have enjoyed those. However, I have felt like 24 hours was a lot of pressure. I definitely preferred this one just because I knew that I had the whole afternoon to put time into my hobbies. Whereas sometimes doing the week ones, things pop up, whether it's with work or other things, and I end up not having the time to do my hobbies. And doing a 24-hour challenge puts too much pressure on it rather than just being able to sit and enjoy. So this really worked well because I knew that I had time to do my hobbies and it wasn't pressure, it was just enjoyable. Having a timer also really helped me focus, because if I don't have a timer and I just say I sit down and I'm gonna do some reading, I will just get distracted. And same with my other hobbies. I've been wanting to update those for so long, but I just kept stopping myself, even though it really didn't take that long, and it made me feel so much better after I've done them. But essentially what I'm saying is I really enjoyed the day. I really enjoyed doing this in a timer situation, so I'm gonna do that more often. And I made progress in so many different hobbies, and because I do have multiple different hobbies, having this set as a timer just helps me jump between different ones, and I really enjoyed that. So I'm definitely going to keep that in mind as I move forward. But thank you so much for spending the day with me, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.